Hi, Lee Ann.
Hi, Christine. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming to visit District 5110 in beautiful Oregon.
Oh, wonderful. My best friend lives out there, actually.
What part of Oregon?
Eugene.
Oh, that's where we are.
Oh, right.
I'm about 20 minutes south of Eugene.
Yeah, both she and her husband teach at the university.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I got to admit people like crazy. I'm going to go ahead and make you co-host. If I can. Good morning, everyone that's just joining us.
Morning,
Good morning,
Christine.
Good morning.
You guys all get gold stars because we had an all-day district training assembly on Saturday, yet here you are.
Well, you didn't tell me that. That's a lot to follow.
To ask for. I know it. It is so true. Okay, I gotta keep one eye on that.
Oh, I love it. Do you mind? Here.
And
Oops, I'm sorry.
who's sorry? Somebody is. Not me.
Well, before we get really started, I want to offer our speaker a membership in the Sun River Lapine Rotary Club.
Oh, listen to you.
You don't know if you don't ask, right?
That's right. The answer is always no. Harry, you're right on. You go ahead and finish your spiel. I want to hear it so I can copy it.
Okay. We have the finest club in District 5110, and we have lively people, and we do great projects, and we support international, and it is just the group to be part of. So I want to make up for this loss that's been in your life, and I'll even give you a slight discount on the membership fees.
You know, Harry, you described our club. That was our club.
I feel like I'm on an episode of the dating game. Like I'm being rude.
Yes, now contestant number 2.
Yeah, but you guys now have to get in line behind Sun River Lapine.
That's right. Admit.
I would be honored. Do you have remote meetings that I could join? Because
Yes,
living
we
in
do.
Chicago, okay.
Yes, we do.
Everybody does at the moment.
The hybrid meetings are working.
All right. Okay, let's see. No, I don't want the chat open. And Lee Ann, you are a co-host, so you can share your screen once you get to that point, if you so choose. And I'm going to let people in until about 5 minutes past the hour, because, you know, these Rotarians are busy people. I see our upcoming district governor is here. Well, not his picture is here, Jerry Kazanovic.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here. I gotta let you know, I've got to be over to university, and so I'm gonna have to leave early.
Oh, that's okay. I don't require reservations for these things, so people sneak in and out anytime they want.
All right.
So, oh, now we have the real you, all Rotary geared up.
Yeah.
Looking the part. And
Christine,
then
I'm so happy to be here, and I can start anytime you like. I don't know if there's anything you need to tell me about this beautiful group of Rotarians.
this is a collective group of membership chairs, presidents, and/or presidents-elect. That's who I send the email out to. I also send it out to district governors, the district administration team, assistant district governors, and then I tell everybody that I send it to that the meeting's open to anyone interested in membership. So you just don't know what you've got here. It's a mixed bag, and it's always a fun meeting. That's why we like to have about a 20-minute or so presentation, and then the group jumps in, asks questions, offers solutions, solves each other's problems. That's the idea.
I love it. What an amazing space to not have to have all the answers, to just
I
come and
know.
help each other brainstorm. That's really, really awesome. I love that.
Yeah, well, I think when I've been to training seminars, the best, Julie Aubrey's here. The best part of the seminar is usually the interaction between the participants, and not discounting the person that's the speaker, but the old style of font of wisdom teaching just doesn't work with adult learners like it does with maybe, I don't know who it works with, but grade school kids. So
No, I can tell you that my grade school kids have a lot to say. So I don't think they would sit very lovingly for a font of knowledge type discussion. They'd be like, I have some thoughts.
Not good to receiver.
Well, thank you all so much for having me. My name is Lee Ann. I work at Rotary in the membership department with your awesome regional membership officer, Julie Aubrey.
right.
Also a fellow theater person. So if you don't know that about her, she's an amazing costume designer.
Oh, I did not know that about her. You find out all kinds of secrets.
But yes, I'm so glad she sort of asked me and connected me with Christine. My passion project for the past year has been producing a webinar series on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And no pressure, but has anybody attended one? We've had 5 so far. Okay, I'll make sure you all get the invitation to the next one.
We've all had some diversity, equity, and inclusion workshops through our Amy Walsh, our upcoming district governor after Jerry, but I don't think they were the RI ones that you produced, Lee Ann. So
yeah, they're all on our Vimeo page. I can make sure you all have them, to explore on your own. But it's been, I will say, for me, it has been a continuous learning experience. I am not the same person I was when I started the year. Just the stories and the concepts that I thought I was pretty good at, I realize how much I don't know. So I'll start with that. That is my own personal learning journey. And today, I hope what I share with you applies not just to your work in Rotary, but to your work in your communities. When we think about people interacting with Rotary. But you guys can tell me that in the discussion, whether I have hit the mark there.
Lee Ann, I just got a question. If we can have links to those videos, if you could type them in your chat box, either while you're talking or in between. I was going to introduce her, and look at this. She's just got it all together, put it all out there. So I have one sentence to say.
I'm sorry, Christine, because I know you were busy letting people in. So I was like, I'm just going to jump in.
You are doing just fine, and you're making my job incredibly easy. But I do have to say one thing about you, because I'm hosting you, and I got to act like I'm earning my keep here. She's the first presenter that we've had that sent a picture of her family as opposed to just a professional photograph. And I think that speaks a lot about Lee Ann. She's very family oriented. She's got a diverse family, and probably kindles part of her passion in this topic. Beyond that, the one sentence I wanted to tell you before she already says it is she's passionate about making the world a more just place, one meaning conversation at a time. So Lee Ann, would you like to take it from here?
Christine, I sure would. Thank you for that. Yes, I do love my family, and I also don't have any professional pictures of me, so thought that one would be fun for you all.
That's right.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Julie, do you mind if there are questions or things that need to be dropped? Can you? Awesome, thank you. so much. Let me get set up here. All right. So I would like to start with this. Expectation versus reality. Can you thumbs up if you can see my screen? Awesome. Perhaps you've seen images like this, where what you expect from a person, an organization, or even an animal is a little different than what you actually experience. Now, I think these obviously are funny, which is why I showed them, but I wanted to talk about how this concept can show up in Rotary. I'm going to give a couple examples of this expectation versus reality in Rotary, and I'd love for you to think about, or better yet, write down a specific example of a time when your expectations were not met. We're not going to share these. This is just a good thing for you to have as we talk through this exercise. So when a new member joins for service opportunities and is continuously pressured to take on a role as a club leader. When a young professional is told there's no attendance policy, but when people miss club meetings, they're called out publicly. When a newer member is excited to take on a club leadership role and promised access to guidance and historical practices, but when they're asked, they're told, "You're great, you're going to figure it out." When a longstanding member has stepped up once again to hold the leadership position and vows to be flexible and transparent, but when new ideas are proposed, they won't consider the new practices or even share the work. When a recent retiree is surprised by the number of fundraisers held and how much they are asked to give outside of the dues they're already expected to pay. So having expectations of ourselves, of each other, isn't inherently a bad thing. We all have expectations, and they're rooted in the specific way that we view and interact with the world. These can come from how much we strive for perfection in our work, how likely we are to compare ourselves to other people, and then the preferences, judgments, and expectations that we just have preference for or were raised with. I would bet that all of us have experienced the disappointment, frustration, or even anger when our expectations, again, of ourselves or other people, go unmet. So research shows us that the connection between expectation and retention is incredibly powerful. But why am I talking about this specifically? When we researched, when we researched former members and we asked them why they left, they said that the top 3 reasons were cost, time, and unmet expectations. Now, I think we can all agree that the work of Rotary shouldn't be too much for a busy professional to handle. When people join for fellowship and service opportunities, they don't expect to be managing a second or a third job. I believe that one essential element of battling this disconnect between expectation and reality is through developing and modeling an inclusive mindset. But before we talk about that, we need to understand the difference between diversity and inclusion. So I'd like to show a short, it's 90-second video from the consulting firm Gallup. So let me get that set up. Sorry, I lost it. Give me 1 second. Just gotta get it back here.
You're muted, Lee Ann. There you
Thank
go.
you. All right. Can you see my screen?
Nope.
It's a shame that, I do webinars for a living and I can't figure this out right now.
Uh-oh. Well, nice to know you have technological
I
difficulties.
know, everyone does. All
Okay,
right, how
here
about
it
now?
goes.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. It's only 90 seconds.
At Gallup, we find that 3 critical elements contribute most to an inclusive environment. First, everyone has to feel respected. It's foundational. It is non-negotiable in work environments. If there's not a sense of respect, there can never be a sense of belonging and inclusion. The second element is being valued for your strengths. And so the ability for managers to not only identify, but also work intently to develop employee strengths really impacts the need for the larger inclusive environment. And then finally, there has to be a sense of trust in the organization. That third element is trusting leaders to do what is right. And without a sense of trust in not only leadership, direction, and strategy, but also trusting them to do what is right, there can't be a true sense of an inclusion culture. So you really need all 3 of those elements working together. Research has shown us time and time again the value of not only a diverse team, but the extended value of an inclusive team. So there are teams that may have diversity, but they're not able to fully leverage it. Inclusion is that critical factor that helps a diverse team really maximize their ability to be innovative, to be creative, to think about problems in a new way. And so if an organization wants to truly maximize and leverage their diversity, they must be inclusive. Otherwise, they won't yield the outcomes and the benefits that they could have from having a truly diverse and inclusive environment.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for your patience with me while I got that set up. I think it's really important, and she did more in 90 seconds than I would have been able to. So let's talk about that. So to summarize, inclusion refers to the cultural and environmental feeling of belonging, and it can be assessed to the extent by which we feel valued, respected, accepted, and encouraged to fully participate in an organization. Now, as leaders, we have to develop and model the ability to look at everything we do through the lens of inclusion. We can sometimes think about diversity and inclusion as separate initiatives, ones that require outside speakers or maybe expensive training, but we can actually begin to develop those skills ourselves and then model them for others every day. And I have 5 ideas for you in this space. The first is definitely the hardest because it requires the most from us personally. But we need to recognize and acknowledge that we all have unconscious bias. As I mentioned, expectations, they're rooted in the judgments and preferences we're all born with. Having assumptions isn't wrong or bad. It's part of how we fast track understanding. The problem arises when we're not even aware that we're making assumptions. When we become aware of our biases, we can begin to make space for others to exist in the same space without judging their actions as less effective because they might be different than what we would do. In fact, inclusive leaders are able to notice and talk about difference without making anyone feel singled out. Great leaders, heartfelt leaders live by example. To set a good example for your team, you have to work on your own performance. So continue developing new skills and abilities that make you better at your job. This, unfortunately, also means you can't overlook the small stuff. When you witness someone being rude or dismissive, we have to call it out. We don't want to focus on finding fault, but we want to state that we noticed it and suggest alternatives to move forward. Building strong relationships requires a lot of quick check-ins. In the video, she talked about trust and that being really important to inclusion. In a culture of trust, you need to let people know that you care about them. Don't assume that just because someone isn't coming to you directly, they have everything they need. Build in a continuous feedback loop that allows people to talk to you if they have concerns. And when you get to a check-in, get really specific with the questions you're asking. I just put some examples on the screen. You can feel free to steal them and use them in your check-ins. But are the responsibilities that we talked about what you're...
Lee Ann, sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
We're actually not able to see your screen right now.
Right. I was just gonna say that.
Let me go back to that.
There we go.
Better?
Yep.
Excellent. Let me see. I don't think you missed anything on the other screens, but
I'll be asking for Leanne's slideshow to send out to you tomorrow, as well as the Gallup video you showed us. People are asking for that already.
oh, good.
And I always send out a recording. I don't send out a recording of this whole program, but I post it on our YouTube channel that has all our past membership forms. Sorry, Leanne, I just wanted to reassure everybody that's going, can we get this?
So just to recap, since I wasn't sharing, number 1 is about recognizing and acknowledging our unconscious bias. Number 2 is about working on ourselves and getting better in our jobs. And then this was the piece I was on about checking in. So you want to ask if the responsibilities they're doing are the ones they expected to be doing. Are you spending the amount of time with Rotary that you expected to? Is it more or less? Are you getting the support that you need? Is there anything we can do to make you feel more welcome? And which skills do you want to use or develop that you haven't had a chance to yet? In fact, one of the things we don't always talk about is Rotary as a professional development opportunity. And you can gain a lot of really great skills by being a member of a club. So number 4 is make the unwritten rules obvious. Every group and organization has cultural norms, but if they aren't written anywhere and are treated as understood, it can be harder for new members of diverse groups to know about them. So Rotary has a couple of words that I hear that instead of making our work transparent, that I would love to ban from our cultural norms. So maybe this district can help me. Those words are fit and quality. Because it is okay to have membership requirements that are specific to your club, but spell them out, make them clear. Otherwise, they're open to interpretation. Who's fit? Who's quality? I heard a great speaker say once, if we are not intentionally inclusive, then we are unintentionally exclusive. And then the last one is to create a culture of appreciation. I mentioned, people lead differently, people have different needs and understandings and ways of communicating. So having an inclusive mindset allows you to recognize and appreciate those differences. Most of the time, you and other people have really good intentions. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody doesn't follow through sometimes. It's part of being human. I actually just learned of a club in New Zealand. They have no attendance requirements. And when a new member joins, they say, how much time are you willing to commit to our club? And then they hold that person accountable for the time and the hours that they made. I want to read one quote here from Howard Baer, the former president of Starbucks Coffee. Okay, he says, look, you can like somebody, you can love somebody, but they may not be able to perform in the position they currently have. It doesn't make them bad people. We have this good-bad thing based on performance. Let's assume all people are good. Let's make that assumption. All people are good. As long as you keep that in mind, the person I'm talking to who maybe isn't performing is still a good person who has lots of redeeming qualities. It may be that the person can't do or is not able to do. Maybe they could do a different kind of job, or maybe in another company, whatever it happens to be. But you can still love them. You can still care about them. When they know that, they'll do everything they can not to let you down, not to let their teammates down, and not to let themselves down. So this is where I open it up to conversation with you all, bringing this idea back to unmet expectations. What do you think? Will adopting these 5 pillars of an inclusive mindset help us meet people where they are and make space for them in our clubs and communities?
I think it's time to unmute yourself and jump in as you see fit, or raise your hand if you're all going to try to do it at once.
This is Steve in Wairika. I was wondering, is this presentation going to be made available to the clubs to share at our leadership retreat, assuming we have one?
This presentation will be on YouTube. We have a District 5110 YouTube forum that's called Membership Forum, a channel, I'm sorry. I'll ask Lee Ann to send her slides as well as the Gallup program, the video, the short video that she sent out. One thing that I thought of when I thought of the diversity, equity, and inclusion was mostly diversity. But the program that I see you giving today, Lee Ann, is mostly inclusion, which we can use those principles to check in with anybody, everybody, long-term members, new members. And another thing I just wanted to underline while I'm chatting is that checking in with their expectations. I check in with my members, but I don't specifically check in with their expectations. And I think I should be. I think that's really good. Other comments?
Well, this is life. It's not just Rotary, it's life. And we have really seen in the last year plus that we all need to be going through life, not just Rotary, in this way. Just saying, I've been working on it myself for these very same reasons, but in life.
Right. I know you have some spousal differences. It's easy to think they're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Not me specifically. I'm not claiming any. Maybe every now and then.
This
Mark,
fits in extremely well with the follow-up to Saturday's meeting on talking about what's important to the membership.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Marv, I think I saw your square light up. Did you have something to add or ask?
It would be nice to kind of have a workshop on actually how to proceed with this, where you can role play.
Oh,
Great idea.
You have something up your sleeve on that, Lee Ann, that we can schedule you for at some point?
I mean, I'm a theater person, so yes, 100%. I think,
Well,
but Marv, to your point, the more we practice these things, the easier they get. I mean, I remember when first we started asking everyone for their pronouns, that felt really odd to me.
and I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, and then when I started doing the research, I learned that it all goes back to assumptions, because we don't want to make assumptions about a person based on how they look or how they appear. And so it's just a way of showing them respect by making that space for them to self-identify.
Okay.
Now I still make mistakes, but I'm so much better at correcting and apologizing and moving on.
Yeah, gotcha.
tie this in for us to mentorship, because it seems like there's a direct tie there, but you didn't specifically say the word. And when we're mentoring someone, we do, going back to checking expectations, but elaborate on that if you will, Lee Ann.
Yeah, I think for me, my biggest aha moments is when I've been working with someone and we haven't quite clicked. And I can't quite put my finger on why we haven't clicked, why we're not working well together, why we're having misunderstandings. And I do, in those moments, it would be easy to judge and say that person just doesn't get it. That person doesn't understand it. That person, you other them and you say it's their problem. But I really try to do the work and say, how can I reach them? What am I missing? And respect their different way of doing things, even though it might be different than mine. And that has been a really big shift in my own work.
Other comments, questions? Tom?
Yes,
Thomas?
Tom Bennett here from Coos Bay North Bend Rotary, also with Patty Scott on board as our chair of our membership committee. I'm very interested in this concept of fit and quality. We have had a tendency to use those words, and we've expressed a lot of times the need for a quality person as a potential member. And we define that quality, I'm almost certain, in regard to the biases that most of the longer term members have had in place for quite a while. And then we come to the fit part. And it occurs to me that if we start with the conversation about expectations with a new prospect, we might end up with a terrific fit as opposed to a fit that is more in line with, again, what has been in place for a good long time. So I think we've got something there to work with right away.
Right.
Other comments, questions?
I'm really moved by you recognizing that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put that in this presentation because I know that Rotary uses those words. I see it a lot, even in my own work, but I think it's important. It's okay to define it, and it's important to define it. So thank you so much, Tom. That means a lot that stuck to you.
Thank you.
One thing I've noticed about Rotary, and it goes back to the first leadership training institute that I was at as a trainee, as a new member, and that was this concept of introverts versus extroverts. And Rotary, when we think of fit, we think of somebody that's going to come in and give hugs and love on everybody. And it was interesting to me that this particular session, we were all vying for who had the friendliest club, because we all did, right? And we were talking about, well, I've got the friendliest club because we have social time before the meeting starts and we all hug each other. We just love each other. And two people quietly said, I hate that part. And that really was like a slap in the face to me because, yeah, I'm an extrovert. But you know what? Do we make room for introverts when we're looking for fit? Are we looking for extroverts? There are a lot of qualities an introvert brings that are as valuable, sometimes more valuable. We need that blend. To get a harmony, you have to have different notes.
Ooh, very good.
Oh, that
was good.
I stole that.
But it was good. It fit. Oh, it fits.
It fits. Dan, you just turned on your computer. Do you have an insight for us?
Not me.
You got an insight.
No, I think a lot of it goes with the environment that we create. And I hate to see us get too lost in terminologies and somehow running down a path and not paying attention to the environment that we create within our clubs. That they have to be just fun and good and what we're wanting to attract people to. That would be my thought. I'm kind of on the edge of the old white guy thing, so.
But Dan is the incoming president of our only District E Club.
Right.
So, and I think that there's a lot of things that make these concepts even more important when you're working virtually. Checking in for expectations, for example.
Well, our club is international, truly international. We have people from Africa, we have people from Italy, Guatemala, all over the world. So our inclusiveness is built in. We just create the right environment and give them the tools and the energy, the excitement to become more involved. So we're already inclusive just by the nature of our club.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm looking for hands. I can ask people. Jerry, you've been so quiet and I know you want to leave early, so you're not usually quiet. You're another extrovert.
Well, I kind of take issue with you just because I don't like the hug. And I think in this pandemic, I'm not hugging anybody. It doesn't make me an introvert. I'm not shaking hands anymore either. I'll do I've been to Japan 5 times. Their standard down in Japan years ago was wearing masks. So wearing masks, I don't think is going to be a bad thing going future. Bowing to people, giving whatever, just avoiding that kind of, that it's not going to make me an introvert, having that perspective, but it'll be perceived as that probably, especially when I get up to Christine Wan, she opens her arms for a big hug and I say, thank you, no. I think with respect to expectations, you got your club members and then you got your people that you want to attract to be in the club. And as long as clubs don't, the difference is, the people in the club are going to have this take it for granted assumptions of what's going on. The people that you're trying to attract to the club are the people that are going to be new and they're going to see that. As long as to me, it's all about culture. If you have a culture that's open and accepting of people are going to be attracted to you. If they can sense that you've got a closed culture, that you've got to, I've got to be a military person to sit at this table, stuff like that, then they're just going to be turned off. So whether that's not an unconscious bias, that's a bias that's going to be really promoted out to others. So that's my 2 cents here for a second.
That was worth a nickel.
Yeah, when I'm working with clubs, I sometimes ask them, if you had a secret shopper to your club, how would they describe your club? Would they say it was welcoming and open and what would somebody that has no knowledge of your policies, procedures, traditions feel? How would they feel about it? It's just something everybody should think about.
That is an awesome concept. I love the secret shopper to a club idea. When I was shopping around for a club to join when I moved to Eugene, of course, everybody said they were the friendliest and had the best food or whatever. But there were several clubs that I went in and I barely got recognized. I barely got acknowledged. And we think we are, but we're so busy and focused on our friends. Mimi's got her hand up.
Thank you, Chris. So I just wanted to echo what you said about the extroverts versus the introverts. I think it's so individual. I agree with you, but I never looked at it that way. I look at each member individually and see what type of person they are, and yeah, you have to put them in that proper place where they are, their comfort zone, like you said, and they are great. I'm an extrovert, as you know, and sorry, Jerry, I used to be a hugger, but till COVID came along.
Yeah.
So anyway, they are very, very useful and helpful. You just have to put them in their comfort zone. But I think we're going to be facing a bigger obstacle, which really concerns me, is going back to having regular meetings. And we've been hybrid for a while now, but I think it's going to be very challenging for us because those that are not vaccinated versus those that are and are a high risk? Do they want to be sitting in the same table with those that haven't been vaccinated? So I think those are some of the issues that the pandemic has instilled in us that we're not really recognizing yet because we haven't felt it yet. But do we set up separate tables for them, for those that feel comfortable? I mean, it's going to be a whole new thing. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you. And I see you, Jerry, but Barbara's been patiently waiting with her hand up, and I'll call on you next, okay?
Go to Jerry first because I think he has something to springboard off of what the
Okay.
other speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, with respect to vaccinations, we cannot be a member of an organization that is anti-vax and still at the same time promote polio vaccinations worldwide, trying to eradicate a disease. We just can't do it. We have to model the behavior that we expect out of people. So if you're an
Boy.
anti-vaccinator, I will talk to you, but you cannot be an anti-vaccinator and be a true Rotarian. You just
No
can't.
kidding. Oh, good, Jerry.
But at the same time, as an organization, we've got the whole HIPAA thing where when you're asking people about something about their health, that's a big no-no. I was asking our Walmart store, you know, they're gonna start letting people in without masks. And I went shopping there at 7 a.m. because I don't like the crowds. I noticed that every single person in there had a mask on, and I'm in an area that's pretty rural. I'll just leave it at that. But they're just asking people and then trusting their answer because that's all they can do. So it's presenting some unusual issues moving forward. I agree with what Jerry's saying, and I understand the quandary it puts us in. We can't just say, you know, prove it. You show me your card.
I asked people, have you been inoculated against polio in your lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
Have you? You know, and most of I bet everybody is going to say yes, they have vaccines. So the vaccine for COVID is there's no excuse for not getting the vaccine. Anyway, I'm hard line on that one.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, but thank you for But hey, we've all got our opinions, and this is wonderful. Barbara, take us in a new direction. I see Daniel Reese has got his hand up too.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing out what is the elephant in the room is anti-vax versus supporting what is such a huge commitment and mission for Rotary with Polio Plus. All I was going to say, and it was linking back, like you said, I'd had my hand up for a little bit, so I wanted to link back. So just something that I had heard a while back that I want to throw out there is we all think that we are just the friendliest group. But are we a butts out group? And a butts out group is that group that loves each other so much that we're in our own circle with our butts out.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to get that image out of my head.
We just love each other so much that we've got our own little circle and our butts are out. That's it.
I've always thought it feels like you're crashing a family reunion. Like everyone else is so excited to be there and they're warm and welcoming, but they're not really interested in talking to you.
Yeah. Lee Ann, do you want to piggyback on any of this before we move on to more interaction?
No, I love the interaction. You guys, you keep going. Good conversation.
Look what you started. Daniel Reese.
Listen, I have to go. Thank you very much, Christine, for this
thank
opportunity. You. And Lee Ann, Julie, thanks so much for joining us in District 5110.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we might have to bring her back for this workshop that Marv suggested. I think that sounds like a great idea.
Open invitation. Open invitation. Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I just wanted to share. It's related to several of the things that we've discussed that Lee Ann has shared, but also what Jerry has shared about the controversies associated with vaccination. First of all, I do want to clarify that we shouldn't have any, I don't believe we should have any reservations about talking about vaccinations. We certainly have done this historically with Rotary, and HIPAA doesn't apply to Rotary because we're not a healthcare provider. HIPAA has requirements for healthcare provider organizations and confidentiality. There's nothing to restrict anybody from asking a question. But I think related to this, the broader issue is having a culture where we don't avoid issues, we don't avoid hard issues, but we're good at having hard conversations, that we're good at being respectful while having hard conversations, by being good listeners while we're having hard conversations. And the health of an organization, just like Lan had mentioned and others, sort of the characteristics of healthy teams. A healthy team doesn't avoid controversy. A healthy team is trust each other to engage in controversial conversations. And there's ample opportunity for that if we take advantage of it.
Thank you, and good distinction. Thanks for that, Daniel. You always have something poignant to say.
Yeah, and I think that's a whole other skill set too, is how do we have challenging conversations? I have found, again, producing this diversity, equity, and inclusion webinar series, that I have, I've gotten a few responses that have challenged me to respond with kindness and understanding. But it's also made me better at seeing things from both sides of an issue. So yeah, that, Daniel, that's a whole other workshop that I'd love to participate in.
Getting lots of ideas, and I was going to ask the group for some, what do you want to see in coming up forums? And I will be doing that towards the end. I'll ask you to put your ideas in the chat box for what you'd like to see coming up. But there's a few of you that have been quiet. Janet.
Well, I just wanted to ask Lee Ann again, or I know she addressed this, the webinar series that you're talking about, I can access them through Rotary International, or is that right?
Yep. Yeah, there, I can actually drop the link to our series with all the recordings. We actually have a webinar next week about making our clubs welcoming to people with disabilities. We've got some amazing disability rights advocates. And as my mother, who used to work in this field, tells me, we are all temporarily able-bodied. So it's a very good thing for us all to consider. How do, when you make things accessible for a certain group, you make it better for everyone. Sure. And that is the universal design principle that I've been learning about. So I'll drop the link in here, and would love to have you all join us next week.
So here's a little training. I'm sorry, I'm not as knowledgeable on technology, but a webinar is different from a podcast.
It's not terribly different. There is visual, but you could just listen too.
Okay, but is there participation involved?
You can ask questions, you can chat. It's this same forum. I actually use Zoom. So it's
very similar to today.
Yeah, so Rotarians are very good at Zoom now, because we've been doing it forever. And yeah, so you see the speakers, you can ask questions. Sometimes there are polls, but if you aren't available at the time, you can always watch the recording.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Little lesson for me.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all learning, and technology is one of those things we all thought we needed to learn before we got started. Yes.
I just wanted to thank Lee Ann. When I think of diversity, I come from a whole different world. I think of race and sex, and never did I think of it being an offshoot of being inclusive. This is the best presentation. You really have opened up so much, because I come from a very homogeneous little town, Jacksonville, Oregon, and we are very much the same. I mean, we do have age differentiation, but that's about it. So this has been wonderful. And I will admit, I have not attended very many of these topics because it really didn't apply to us. I mean, I can't be diverse racially. I don't have any pools to pull from. We're all white and we're all pretty much the same age. We have some younger families, but I don't have a college base. I don't have a single, young single base to pull from. So this has just been fabulous. And
I'm so glad.
Yeah, my comment from the Jacksonville Club is that I'm really having a hard time. I know our theme coming up this year is everyone bring one, and I've belonged to so many different groups and this is nothing new, but I'm having a hard time with that because I think we are such a group, a family, that people don't want anyone else to come in, and they don't understand that without growth, we're gonna go bye-bye. So any ideas from any of you all attending? How do you get your members to reach out? And gosh, if you get along with this person, why do you think they wouldn't be a great Rotarian? So thank you.
Good.
Wow.
Good summary, Jill. Harry, besides recruiting members, do you have anything to say?
No, I'm just trying to soak it all up and figure out how it really applies to Sun River. The Sun River Lapine area. Lapine's a little bit different from Sun River, which is why we have expanded our name to let everybody know that we're not just this little resort community. And so we're looking, we have over the past couple of years greatly expanded our membership out of Lapine, and it's been very helpful, and we're going to continue that. Now all I have to do is recruit some more men. We got too many women in our club.
Oh man. It just swings both ways, doesn't it?
Well,
yeah, it does.
That
I tried not to say that, but it just slipped out.
Oh yeah. Well, we have to keep our sense of humors.
That's right.
Because we need them.
But the comments earlier about the balance and the blend, and it's all important.
Patty, did you want to add anything or elaborate at all?
Yeah, I'm just interested in thoughts on how you change a culture, because in our club, which is really old, one of the oldest ones, when we go to recruit members, we want to, as Tom said earlier, we want this good Rotarian, and people have an image of that, and it tends to not be, in my opinion, younger folks, and our more seasoned folks in their careers or their lives have opinions about our young people, and the young people that we've brought in don't stick around. And I don't know if that's just because of their lives or just the culture that they experience. So how do you go about changing a culture to be more inclusive when many of the people in that club have been in there for a very long time, think it's just fine?
Wow.
Well, Patty, I want to start by saying you're not alone. This is a question we get a lot from Rotary clubs all over the world. And I don't know the area of this district is in. So I'll tell you something I've learned from producing this webinar series that may or may not be applicable. But one of the ways that people are making space for diversity is in their programming. And asking, for example, let's say I can't think of a topic right now, you want to learn about education. You could ask the superintendent, who may be a white man, or you can say, hey, we really want someone who knows the system and can come talk to our club, who represents a more diverse voice. Do you have a recommendation? And so pull someone in that is just different than you are. Just have them expose yourself and your clubs to people that see things a little bit differently, that may look different than you, have different beliefs. And through exposing ourselves to that, I think it just gets easier. But, you know, you have to sort of take that first step and ask for what you need. It goes back to expectations, right? Sure, the superintendent will come talk to you, but could we get somebody with the similar skill set and a different perspective that can help our club shift a little bit? So that's one idea.
I was asking an interactor, our club sponsors a high school interact club, what she thought about our website, because they just did it their own website. And she says, old. And I went, no, I mean, she was very candid with me. I like to have these open conversations. I went back and I looked at our website, and there's barely one young person in all that sea of gray. So, I mean, how hard do we try to, just in our photographs of who we are, if you're a young person coming in from the outside world and you're going to check out your Rotary Club, what do they see? You know, do they feel included in that picture? Could they put themselves in that picture? I want to take the last 5 minutes and ask you to put in the chat box subject ideas, topic ideas for next year's forums. We will vote on and prioritize them in upcoming forums, but I just wanted to start with a blank slate and have you guys throw any ideas. So you can go ahead and start doing that. But let's see, who haven't I heard from? Jim, do you have any insight or anything you're willing to share?
Well, you know, it's always a joy to come in and listen. I'm still just getting my feet wet in the bigger picture of things as I move up the chain. I come from a club that is 65% women. We're a small club, 24 people. Virtual and in-person meetings right now. And I will say some of the changes that we've seen have seriously been a detriment to participation. The dropping of attendance, the trying to expand membership without looking at, is this a community leader? How are they involved in the community, or do we just want members? Those are issues that, you know, I listen to see if there's other ideas that I can pick from and pass on.
Thanks for that.
Jim, I would like to know how you are in Evanston. We're not allowed in the building. You are standing on the 18th floor.
March 12th of 2019, I was a member of a group that went back to talk about foundations and sustainability and community assessments.
Oh, cool.
Great visit.
Good backdrop. Mitch, Alan, I haven't heard from you, and can you hear us? Do you have anything you'd like to share? May have stepped.
You hear me?
Yep.
Well, you know, I look back in the early 2000s when I was the district membership chair, and seeing the changes from that time when we actually met in person, and maybe at the most we had 12 people showed up. And I'm not always a big fan of Zoom. I'm not used to the style yet, but seeing much more participants in these discussions today, I've been listening more than, that was my point today. Yeah, seeing what the topic was, is to really listen to everybody, what they're saying. Because I never thought I had a bias, but at the very beginning, you were saying about recognizing your own bias. And it started making me think, when I grew up in a small community of 1,200 people in a mountain town, I recall we're all Caucasian whites, but as I come to a larger community and saw a little more diversity, didn't recall seeing it in high school, which had 400 students in senior class. I never thought about the difference among different races and everything in that. But when I went to my 50 class reunion at the same high school, I felt like I went in the next generation ahead of me. It was seeing what they're doing in school nowadays just popped my eyes open.
Yeah.
And this discussion we're having today is doing the same thing. And that's why I really was listening and not speaking too much, was because of what we all had said here is really opening the doors.
Well, absorption is a good idea too. We've got a lot to learn from each other, but I like to pull everyone out because sometimes the quiet people have something that we need to hear. So I appreciate the participation. Actually, our attendance is a little down today, and I attribute that to the fact that we had our club training assembly on Saturday. But still, can I ask you, while I'm thanking Lee Ann for her participation and Julie for her referral, to write in the chat box any information or any subject ideas you have going forward, specific to membership, but what would you like to talk about in our hour increments next year? They promoted me to district training chair, which doubles my salary. And I look forward, I said yes, as long as I can keep my forms, because I just love doing these, and I think they're always a lot, I learn a lot. So this is the way I like to learn. So I hope you agree. Marv, you wrote TY in there. If that's a subject idea, would you elaborate? Otherwise, you don't know what I'm going to come up with.
Marv wrote, what makes a good mentor? I apparently did not hit that in this meeting. So you got to do another one, Christine, with a mentor.
All righty, we will.
Christine, TY is thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we started out with mentorship as the idea, the theme for this meeting, and then Lee Ann had such a different perspective, which I like. Next year, I'm thinking about pulling in people as facilitators who are not Rotarians. And so this was my way to sort of get that idea going, because Lee Ann's very involved in Rotary and works for Rotary International, but she herself is not a Rotarian. I think we can learn from people outside of Rotary, and we'll hear things in different ways. And I think that's something we can take back to our clubs and make our organization much better for it. So if you would do that, I would appreciate it. Other than that, I'm going to adjourn our meeting. It's 11 o'clock. Your time is valuable. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Lee Ann. It sounds like we're going to have you back a half a dozen times before this is all over.
Thank you for having me, all of you. Christine, you're a wonderful facilitator. Thank you so much.
Oh, I love doing it. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lee Ann.